This is Choi, and you're listening to CMSRWe, a little podcast exploring and discussing life in medical school. Today, it's just me again. I thought I'd pop on to record an episode about Student Doctor Network. This is more towards people applying, or maybe just people who are interested in the black hole that is Student Doctor Network. I personally didn't go on Student Doctor Network until maybe about the spring, when I was wondering if people were done going to interviews and if schools were going to give out any more interviews. A lot of my friends, though, used it quite often to keep track of when secondaries were sent out, how many people got in, if anyone got off the wait list. If I had known about it sooner, I think I would have used it sooner, but I didn't know until one of my friends told me, well, on SDN, they said something, and I said, what's SDN? And, SDN is kind of like a place of no return, Student Doctor Network. It's where pre-meds or med school students, or I'm not really sure how the demographics really break down, but I am sure that there are lots of people interested in applying who go up on there, telling everyone their scores and numbers and asking, do you think I'll get in? And you also have people saying, I didn't get in. You also have people saying, here are the secondary prompts, guys. So I'm going to get on here. I'm going to go undercover and see if I can answer any questions. I know this is really stressful, and just going onto this website throws me back to, and I was just running on cortisol and nothing else. All right, looks like this guy, Papa Guava, the real PG, he put up the secondary prompts in April 14th, 2019. I did not know they came out that early. Well, he included the secondary prompts, and we see, I'm scrolling through July, and no one got anything yet. No one on the site, that is. I never ended up making an account because I don't really like making accounts in places. Still scrolling. July. Oh, on July 22nd, we see someone named Billy Batts. Current M3 here at Cooper. Now that I'm done with the most stressful exam of my life, probably referring to step 1, I decided to make an account to help out the youngins. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll try my best to answer them within a reasonable amount of time. In Boca a Lupo. Oh, someone thought the MCAT was going to be the most stressful exam of their life. So did I. All right, still scrolling. Still July. Wow, there's a lot of interest in this school. M2 also wanted to answer some questions. People are asking everyone what they got the secondaries. They want to know what the cutoffs are. The M3 is talking about how important service is. I'm just going to try to find if there's a question that hasn't been answered yet. Okay, people started getting secondaries. This is towards the end of July. Wow, that's early. Oh, question. How are we supposed to answer the first question? Please write a personal mission statement for yourself as a student at CMSRU. How will CMSRU fulfill your mission? Gosh, I forgot what I put down. What I did was look up the CMSRU values, and I wouldn't copy their vision, but I would try to make mine like a nice complement to the vision rather than like the vision in your own words. And this is not to say just make up a mission statement that sounds good next to the Cooper values. But what is it that you really want to get out of your education? It's kind of like applying to college, but this it's like a pre-professional school. So you want to think about where you want to go, what you want this education to give you, because a lot of the schools, yes, they will grant you an MD, but what is it about this school specifically that resonates with you? Oh, okay. Someone said I wrote my goals as a medical student and physician and how they fit with the mission and opportunities of CMSRU. Great. This might not be very interesting. It's most people saying that they got their secondaries. Dumb question, but the phrasing of the adversity question throws me off. Are they just asking for a time you experienced adversity and how you responded? Discuss how you have identified and responded to adversity. Oh yeah, I agree that the wording might be a little confusing. I think you're on the right track. That guy over there, they are asking for examples. That's another thing with these responses. You want specific, concrete examples rather than saying, I'm organized, I'm caring. They'd much rather like you to show them examples. Oh, Here's the M3 again. Some tips, advice for those of you asking questions. Don't overthink the secondary. Be true to who you are and to your passions. They're not trying to trick you. Definitely agree with that. Number 2, Camden is our classroom. Camden is our home. That's the official/unofficial motto. Camden is one of the most underserved areas in the entire country and gives you the opportunity to not only reach well beyond your comfort zone, but to give back and learn from a community in need. Yeah, I also agree with that, 100%. Last I heard, acceptance post-interview hovers around 50%, and secondary is not a bad sign. It by no means equals interview. Oh my God, they said, I know someone who got secondary 3 years in a row with no interview. Gosh, that sucks. I can't imagine that. This whole thing is just so stressful. Someone asked, hi, thanks for offering to answer our questions. I was wondering what you felt like you learned here that you could not learn anywhere else. I wanted to understand how Cooper helped in this regard. Was it living in Camden, interacting with patients, or the curriculum and the mission of Cooper that made you feel that you learned things here that you could not anywhere else? Oh, here's Billy Bats again. Wow, he's really helpful. He said, living in Camden has been a life-altering experience. More importantly, having the opportunity to immediately start being involved in patient care as soon as I started M1 provided me with tools that most students don't obtain until their 3rd or 4th years. Now, I hear this a lot, that we get to have early experience and that in traditional medical schools, you would not have the same opportunities. They tell us that those are standardized patients and having OSCE exams starting your first year and working at the clinic. And also getting to go on the wards and check out a lot of different departments. And is that true for people who go to other med schools? Do you guys also do that? Because I have no way to really compare. Speaking of interviewees, today at noon, a bunch of them are supposed to be in the upper lobby area. So I'll be there too, just to say hi. It's really nice to talk to them. It's really nice to be able to just talk to them honestly and openly. I tell them verbatim, ask me anything, and I will give it to you straight. So many questions about the prompt. Okay, page 8. Do they accept update letters? Well, someone replied, I Love Medicine 528 said they do not. I sent one anyway. So I don't know if their policy changed, but I definitely sent my update letter. Whether they threw it away or not, I have no idea. Oh, and this I Love Medicine 528. Interesting. They put their stats in as their little tagline signature thing. Wow, that takes a lot of guts. So quite here. I think they meant quiet. Those of you who had interviews in October, did you hear back from AdCom? Still waiting for my interview invite. Oh, I think they mean 75th percentile. Gosh, I'm the worst. I'm the wrong person to do this. I'm sorry. Just listen to this for entertainment purposes. Do not take anything I say as serious as actual advice. Someone said, when I interviewed, they said they would call today for acceptances. Has anyone gotten anything yet? And 82 Scout said, gonna be pessimistic and say probably not gonna happen today. Well, after I interviewed, I didn't get the call on the date that they said they would call. And I was placed on the wait list, but I did get off the wait list. And from what I heard from upperclassmen or other classmates, there is a lot of movement on the wait list. So I wouldn't be just totally dejected because you didn't get the call yet. Because if you didn't get the rejection letter yet, it means they might be still considering you. Someone wrote waitlisted November 1st. I feel ya. Sad update, I just received the priority waitlist email, a little bummed, but hopefully I come off it. I think you're in a good spot right now. I know it's really hard to not feel bummed. In fact, I did too. So I guess I can't be kettle calling what is it called? Cold calling the kettle black? Yeah, that's really hard, but if you're on the priority waitlist email, that is different than the regular waitlist. That's what I was on too. Waitlisted just now. Dopamine 95. You got in. Welcome, Dopamine 95. Oh, someone said waitlisted my least favorite school so far, and I failed at the 2 people interview, so not surprising at all. Interviewed 9/13, I want to say. What do you mean you failed at the 2 people interviewing? And it's your least favorite school? Okay. So if you get off the wait list, would you still go? Looks like people are getting accepted. Basically, when Dr. Coker calls you, it's a pretty good sign. I remember getting my call. I was at work, and I was having a meeting with my boss, and I recognized the area code, and so, like, my heart just dropped. I can't remember feeling that scared in a really long time. And so I excused myself, went into the next room, and a voice asked, "Hello, is this Bo Choi?" And I said, "Yes, this is she." And he said, "I was wondering if you're still interested in coming to Cooper." I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Well, I've got good news for you. We'd like to offer you a spot, etc., etc." And I was so happy. Interviewing here on Friday. Can everyone share what it's like? The format, etc. Interview, someone said, is 30 minutes. Yep. Done with one member of the admissions committee who has reviewed your file and one that has not had any access to your file. I think that's true, and it's entirely conversational. I agree. And the 30-minute is kind of, well, they're pretty strict on the 30-minute block because they have 3 groups on rotation. The website used to explicitly state that they do not accept letters of interest or updates pre-II. So I'm not sure if that's still the case. If you want my advice, I would pull that out later in the cycle. Okay, that's Billy Bats again, the 3rd year. I did send my letter of interest / updates. I just rolled it into one, and I think I sent that in maybe April or something. So I did send it, but not for a while. Well, I thought this episode was going to be much more interesting, but I'm sorry to disappoint, guys. I'm going to edit out these stretches of silence and try to just tailor it down to something more interesting. But general pieces of advice: really enjoy your time at school and ask all the questions that you are curious about. I think I asked what happens if you don't pass the STEP exam, and I think I asked what happens if you fail. I wasn't afraid to ask those questions, and they do answer you quite honestly. So I would take advantage of that. Don't worry about being your top interview self when you're touring the school or when you're talking to the other students, because we have the students. Majority of the students do not have any control. We don't have a comment section about who stood out to you today. We're just honestly there to get some coffee and some of the pastries and talk to the interviewees. So don't get nervous around the M1s, M2s. Find someone that you can small talk with, or find someone that you can have a conversation with so you don't feel so alone. Well, it's almost noon, so I'm going to make my way down and talk to the students. This has been Bo Choi with CMSRWe. Keep it real and keep it spicy.